Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy DLloyd. So I'm here with a quick playoff preview. Now this is going to be a live commentary, but I just want to go ahead and show you guys a couple of the stats that's going on, season awards and things of that nature. Now I was going to show you guys some of my scouting that I have been doing, but apparently once you get into the playoffs you can no longer access your scouting, so I'll probably have to wait and hold that off until after the season is over. But clearly we're going to be taking on the San Diego Chargers in the wild card game, and we're going to be playing at home since we did win the AFC South. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the standings and how everybody finished up their season. So we finished up 10-6 when you look at the AFC South. The Jacksonville Jaguars were 8-8. Now the Colts were probably one of the biggest disappointments of the year, especially in the AFC South. They finished 7-8-1. Now I don't really know what happened. For the most part, I believe Andrew Luck only missed a couple of games, but he didn't have a lot of touchdown passes, and I don't know what was going on with the Colts, but they did, have a mediocre season at best. So looking overall at all of the teams, the New England Patriots finished 13-3 with the NFL's best record. So did the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. Kansas City Chiefs had a great year as well, 12-3-1. And then the Ravens 12-4, Lions 11-5, Saints 11-5, and then the Titans finished out 10-6. Now as we go down to the worst team in the NFL, see who's going to get the top draft picks in this upcoming draft. You're going to have the Chicago Bears and the St. Louis Rams, both finishing 3-13 this season. Now obviously the Bears, I would think, will eventually need to go quarterback, because Jay Cutler I think he's only maybe a 76 overall, 78. He's somewhere around there. He's getting older and he has that big salary cap hit, so I'm sure the Bears will probably look and try to go for another quarterback. But the team that surprised me a lot was the Denver Broncos, finishing 4-11-1. And there was a lot of ties this year, which is also kind of strange. So when we look at it, all these games finished in ties. So the Chiefs, Broncos, Steelers, Panthers, Colts, and the Chargers, they all had a tie this season. I think that was kind of weird. Now we look for the AFC specifically. Now we finished 4th in the AFC, and we did win our division, so we do, like I said, get the home game. The Chargers were 9-6-1. Those were one of the teams that had the tie. Now looking at the NFC, the Packers and the Seahawks will get the first week bye, and then the Lions, Saints, Eagles, and the Panthers are going to be in the playoffs for the NFC. So we're going to look at the playoff schedule real quick and see who's going to play in the wild card game. Like I said, we're going to play obviously the Chargers on Sunday. So the first two games are going to be the Bengals at Ravens, Panthers at the Saints, Chargers at the Titans, and the Lions at the Eagles. So that is your first division, or first round of the playoffs in the wild card. So those who are going to be playing. But a lot of you guys have been wanting to look at the stats and see how we finished up this season statistically. So looking at our individual players, Marcus Mariota, 95.6 quarterback rating, which is pretty good for a rookie quarterback. Over 3,400 yards passing, 25 touchdowns. He did have 17 interceptions, which is on the high end of the league. It wasn't the most in the NFL, but it was definitely close. So we definitely want to get rid of some of those interceptions. Now a lot of that could be credited to, I believe I had 2 games on 2 separate occasions where I threw at least 3 interceptions. So definitely want to get rid of those games and eliminate those, because that's 6 picks. You get rid of those, he's looking at 11 interceptions this year. So Mariota got sacked 29 times, 61 completion percentage rate, which is also pretty good for a rookie quarterback, average 216 yards a game. So I'm pretty satisfied by how Marcus Mariota turned out during his rookie season. Hopefully we could build upon that in year number 2. Now for our running attack, David Cobb, 729 rushing yards on the season. He did become the starter in week number 3, averaged 3.7 yards a carry. Now he is our power back, so that will explain his 12 touchdowns. Every time we get down close, I like to go in our goal line set. Even when he wasn't starting, I would like to insert David Cobb into the game and go ahead and try to get him the rock so he could power his way through. Now Marcus Mariota, he only ran the ball 23 times. Now Let me know if y'all had this problem. Now, I had a very huge problem with the read option. That's why you didn't see me running a lot, and it was very difficult for me to keep the ball with the quarterback. Pretty much no matter what I did, he would hand the football off. Sometimes I would just tap the button, he would hand the football off. I had a lot of problems with it, so I kind of threw it out and I kind of stopped running it as a whole. But let me know if y'all had that problem as well, because that was weird, and I seen other people in Operation Sports, they had that same problem. So I don't know if it's something that's going to be patched and fixed or whatnot, but that's the main reason why I didn't run too much with Mariota. And then on top of that, his fumbling problem. I think he only has a 50-something fumbling rating. So pretty much every time he gets touched, if I'm not sliding, he's going to put the football on the turf. But Chris Johnson was a player that we ended up getting late in the year. He finished with 143 yards, but 3.8 yards a carry, which is better than David Cobb. He's very explosive. Now, we all know Chris Johnson, he likes to he's one of those players that needs to get the ball a lot. He's a home run hitter. You need to give him about at least 10 to 15 carries in a game, and eventually he'll break one of those runs out. But unfortunately for us, I just didn't give Chris Johnson the ball enough. I probably should have given him the football way more than I did, but he is hit or miss some weeks. Some weeks he'll be on point, some weeks he will be a little bit off. So that's something that definitely want to do in the playoffs. Try to get him a little bit more involved, because he is our home run hitter. And then clearly Bishop Sankey, we did put him to the bench. He eventually got demoted to third string on our running back depth chart. So he only had 24 carries, 3.3 yards a carry. So Bishop Sankey is somebody who shouldn't be on the team too much longer in that, honestly. So our leading receivers, DeLaney Walker. Now, you guys seen the Mariota to Walker connection a lot this year. 64 receptions, over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Honestly, DeLaney Walker had a fantastic year. 469 of those came after the catch. So DeLaney Walker was the beast. I know he's our top-rated offensive player in the game, or on the Titans roster. But DeLaney Walker, I mean, for whatever reason, created a lot of mismatches. He has the speed that's a lot faster than many of the linebackers. So DeLaney Walker was huge for us. Dorial Green-Beckham, he did get injured, so he did miss the last couple of weeks. But while he was in, he looked great, especially as a rookie. Kendall Wright is a player that we'll most likely end up bringing back. So his contract is up, if you don't know about Kendall Wright. I have been debating if I want to bring him back or not at the end of the season. I'm thinking I'm going to bring back Kendall Wright. We'll definitely see how he performs in the playoffs. And then Justin Hunter, he filled in pretty well for Dorial Green-Beckham the last couple of weeks. So I do like having Justin Hunter. I do like taller receivers. So him being 6'4" is a plus for us. Looking at, let's go to defense actually. Our leading tackler was Marquestin Huff. Now that is weird that your free safety is your leading tackler, but he was pretty much all over the field. Now Denoris Searcy, he's probably one of my favorite players on our defense. This man does pretty much everything. He's all over the place, especially coming out from the strong safety position. He's more like a mobile linebacker for us. He does get a lot of tackles for loss and things like that. So I do like Denoris Searcy. Wesley Woodyard, he had a good year, 92 tackles. Avery Williamson as well. And then Brian Arakpo, only 54 tackles, but he did have 13 tackles for loss, and I think he was second in our team. Yes, second in the team in sacks. So Jarrell Casey has 7 sacks, Arakpo 6.5. So those two put in a lot of work for us this season. And looking at, let's go to interceptions. Looking at interceptions, Paris Cox, 5 interceptions. Now, I do like him being our number 2 cornerback. I think he had a really good year, actually. Jason McCourty did good as well. Avery Williamson, 3 interceptions. So Bleeder Ray Wilson, Marquestin Huff, and then everyone else just either had 1 or didn't have any interceptions. Now our only defensive touchdown all year came from Cody Sensabaugh, I believe it was. Yep, Cody Sensabaugh. He got our only defensive touchdown. Obviously, we don't have any safeties, didn't have any blocks. This stat I think is broken. I'll be honest with you, catches allowed, because I know we allowed more than 2 catches. So this stat is clearly broken. And then deflections, Denoris Searcy led the way with 5 deflections. So let's go ahead and look at the whole league in general. Go to that passing yards. Look at yards passing. That'll give you a better view. Aaron Rodgers, 4,600 yards passing, 103.5 quarterback rating, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers is a beast, so I don't expect nothing less from him. Joe Flacco had 4,200 yards. Now, we do know the Ravens like to put the ball in the air, so 29 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, something that I could actually see happening. Phillip Rivers, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Now, that is a lot for Phillip Rivers, but Phillip Rivers has a couple of studs. He has Stevie Johnson. I think Stevie Johnson is going to pretty much resurrect his career in San Diego. I do think he'll be a great fit. Peyton Manning, 17 interceptions for Peyton Manning. That is a little bit high. Drew Brees threw 19 picks. I do expect Drew Brees to throw a lot of picks, just how much they throw the football in New Orleans. And then he always was on the high end of interceptions as well. Matt Ryan. Now, this is something I don't see happening ever. Andy Dalton, 35 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. I just don't see that. I don't see Andy Dalton putting up numbers like that, especially in the Bengals uniform. Tom Brady, pretty productive, 103 quarterback rating, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Now looking at Jameis Winston, the other rookie, 87.6 quarterback rating, 3,700 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 12 picks. So he was up there with Marcus Mariota. You see him right here. So looking at quarterback rating, Mariota did have a better rookie campaign. Winston had more passing yards. They both had 25 touchdowns, but Mariota did throw more interceptions. So looking at the leading rusher, that is going to be beast mode Marshawn Lynch, 1,700 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, followed by Le'Veon Bell. These two running backs are clearly always going to be at the top of the list. Jamal Charles is there as well, but one of the names that is clearly missing is Adrian Peterson. So we're going to see where he went on this list. But you see Bobby Rainey, that surprised me. I don't know what happened to Doug Martin, but Bobby Rainey, 1,100 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, so a very good year. Frank Gore, he ran all over us both times we played the Colts, so 1,100 yards for him, 5 touchdowns. Melvin Gordon went over 1,000 yards rushing. Joseph Randle also did as well. And then Stephon Taylor, he went over 1,000 yards. So I don't know what happened with Ellington. I do know that the Cardinals released Chris Johnson again, so that could be a reason why Taylor looked like he was doing good. Drake Bell, clearly Amir Abdullah didn't get any playing time over there. But when you go down, Adrian Peterson, 909 yards, only 152 carries. So he clearly got hurt at some point this season, but he did average 6 yards a carry while he was playing. So Adrian Peterson must have got hurt at some point during the regular season. Now looking at the receiving stats, A.J. Green, 101 receptions, led the league, 10 touchdown receptions as well. So A.J. Green was tearing it up, and that could possibly be the reason why Andy Dalton had such a great year. Jordy Nelson, I know he's going to miss the season in real life, but in our Madden franchise, 94 catches, 7 touchdowns. Demaryius Thomas, Larry Fitzgerald had a great year as well with 11 touchdowns. Looking at Antonio Brown, Steve Smith Sr., and then Brandon Cooks. Something interesting is Terrence Williams. I don't know what happened with Dez Bryant, but Terrence Williams, 83 catches, 979 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he had a lot of yards. Wasn't quite getting the touchdowns that you would expect for a player with 83 receptions. So that is interesting as well. Stevie Johnson, like I said, he had a great year. 82 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Let's see. I think that might be the most out of all the receivers. Yep. 12 touchdowns, the most out of all the receivers in the NFL. So Stevie Johnson had a pretty good year. Now looking at the defensive stats, 171 tackles. John Bostic had 162. Carlos Dansby, 157. Now with me playing with only 8-minute quarters, I don't expect none of my players to lead the league in tackles. So you shouldn't see any of our players here. Looking at the sacks, Quentin Cobles, 21.5 sacks this year. So he had a great year. He was very dominant apparently. Julius Peppers, Terrell Suggs, Brooke Reed, Robert Quinn, Brandon Graham. Look at interceptions. Richard Sherman led everybody in interceptions. So 9 picks. I don't know why they keep throwing it to Richard Sherman's side, but clearly teams feel the need to throw it over there and test them. So he made quarterbacks pay. Brandon Browner, 8 interceptions as well. Xavier Rhodes, Charles Tillman, and then Vontae Davis rounded out. Then Darrelle Revis had 5 interceptions as well. That's pretty much all the important stats. Let's go ahead and look at the season awards. See how that ended up turning out. So MVP goes to Aaron Rodgers. I do expect that. Aaron Rodgers, I think, what was it, 36 touchdowns we just looked at. So Aaron Rodgers wins MVP. Coach of the Year goes to Mike McCarthy. They did finish 13-3 in Green Bay. So looking at the AFC, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Le'Veon Bell. Defensive Player of the Year is Gerard Mayo. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Marcus Mariota. So he did win Offensive Rookie of the Year. David Cobb came in 2nd place in the voting, and then Dorial Green-Beckham was 5th. So a lot of Titans players in the Rookie of the Year voting. So Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Shane Ray. Best Quarterback goes to Phillip Rivers. Best Running Back, Le'Veon Bell. Best Receiver, AJ Green. Obviously, he had over 100 yards receiving. Marshall Yonder, best offensive lineman. Best defensive lineman is J.J. Watt. Obviously, he's going to get that almost every year. Quentin Coples for best linebackers. He led the league in sacks. And then Vontae Davis is the best cornerback this season. Looking at best kicker, Sebastian Janikowski. So now let's go ahead and look at the NFC. Marshawn Lynch, Aaron Rodgers, Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year is Clay Matthews. So a lot of players from Green Bay taking home awards. Jameis Winston, Offensive Rookie of the Year for NFC. The Defensive Rookie of the Year is Eric Kendricks. Best Quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Best Running Back, Marshawn Lynch. Best Receiver goes to Larry Fitzgerald. Best Lineman, Josh Sitton, I believe his name is. I'm not sure about that. Defensive Lineman, Fletcher Cox. Best Linebacker, Luke Kuechly. And Best Defensive Back is obviously Richard Sherman. So I believe that's about everything. Unfortunately, I did wish I could show you guys some of the scouting. I did scout a lot of players. I do feel like with the points given, even on default, you get a lot of players that you are allowed to scout each year. So my main target is running back. I am looking to try to bring in a running back some point during the draft. I am also trying to look to bring in some type of middle linebacker, and then possibly another tight end late, because Delaney Walker is getting up there in age. So I do like my tight end position, and I definitely want to get a pretty quick tight end to replace Delaney Walker when he leaves. But that is it for this episode. I think that's all I could really show. Like I said, we play against the San Diego Chargers in the wildcard game. I'll try to get that video out for you guys today. I am going to the UK game tonight, so I'm definitely going to try to get this out before I leave. But go ahead and let me know what you think about some of the stats in the comment section below. Leave this video a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. It's your boy DLloyd. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.